What is up? We got Austin, Troy, and let's go. Heck yeah. All right, today we're going to be learning one of my favorite things with AI. And this actually is what I believe is how to leverage AI in probably the most cost-effective way. And what I mean is like the input that you put in is very minimal for the output that you get out. Okay. And this is, I believe, the new employee of the future. And this is probably the only thing that everything has almost been the backbone. Everything I've been doing for the last 8 years has been the backbone of doing this. And this is using AI to build website pages. Okay. And here's what's really crazy is using AI. Like before I was building website pages I started about 8 years ago or about 10 years ago. And I was building like web little pages on WordPress for an ammunition company. And every Friday I would type up an email and send out that email and we would make sales to our little WordPress website. And the thing is I just kept building websites since then. I was like working on the ammo website, then I went into the cannabis industry, and then I went into my wife now helps nurses and doctors. And then I started building my own software, right? And so I started doing all of these little different things. However, building websites, if I ever needed to like make money and pay rent, well, what do? Well, you could sell a website because how much does a website cost in a customer's mind? Like if you ask yourself right now, how much would you pay for a website? Or how much does a business pay for a website? Most of the time, the answer is like a few $1,000s. So a lot of times I need a few $1,000s, right? Like I need, like your rent's due. You got kids. I got 3 kids, like I got bills. It's not like I don't need a few $100s and I don't have 2 weeks to go get a job and then wait it. It just wasn't an option for me. So how was I going to do it? Well, I was just going to sell a website because a website I could sell for a few $1,000s and I could get paid up front and then I could go build it out. And so I remember I used to sell websites and then I would have to like go build the website and I would have to write every single word on the page. And there's some days that it would take me like probably like a week or 2 just to come up with the homepage copy, because it was just like, what do I have to say? How do I have to get in the mind of the customer? And it was wild, right? Like it was like a full thing, and it was a great experience, and I'm glad I went through it. However, it's not even close to what I do now. Like I don't have to spend hours and hours racking my brain on how to do it. There's a much better way. And the reason I decided to do this class out of any other ones, because right now we're talking about website scraping and we're talking about building directories and we're talking about all this stuff. I decided to, because my wife last night, she was working on a website for a client and she helps nurses and doctors now. And she was writing, not last night, just about the night before, she was writing website copy for a client. And she was using my software that I built. And here's the thing is she was almost doing it like the old school way, like using AI to write website copy 1.0. All right. And what do I mean? So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you what writing website copy with AI 1.0 means. All right. So if I go into myAIteam.com and I go into this little AI chat area, right? So very first, if I set up these companies, I could create a new company and I could set up my company name, who my ideal clients are, what my clients' biggest challenges are, how my products and services can help them, brand, tone of voice, and then the main action. So this is like setting up the brain of the AI for me. All right. And then I would go into the AI chat and I would pick my company, right? You can see I have one for every single one of my clients, right? I have different ones, and I have ones for coding. I have ones for scary stories. I have all this. So if I click on my AI team, which is one, and I hit new chat, I could say, write me a home page for my business, right? And look, I don't even have to spell very well. And I could say, write me a homepage for my business, and I hit enter, and it will generate me copy for my homepage. Well, this is like version 1. Like writing copy with AI 1.0. Like this is awesome. Like this is a cool magic trick. If you went and showed your neighbor this and be like, look what I can do, they're going to be like, dude, like this is cool. Like I'm so proud of you, right? Like you're going to get really brownie points with your mom, right? Like if you do this. Now, here's the thing is now you have to go build a website, right? Like welcome to your creative powerhouse. Like I have to build this for my website, right? And I could say, make this about my AI team. Okay, and then it will update. Okay, so I could go back and forth and I could update this copy. This is writing websites version 1.0. This is what you're going to see with like ChatGPT and all this stuff, right? Well, here's what's different. If I had this website copy, right, because this still probably really awesome website copy. This is all about my AI team. Well, check out this. On the left-hand side, there's something called AI snippets. All right. If you don't see this screen, there's this little lock key up top. You're going to have to go get your Anthropic API key. Okay, this is basically our AI dealer. All right, that's what this is. All right, so we got to go get our AI. We got to get our AI from that guy. Right. All right. Well, he got the hookup. All right. So all I'm doing is getting the hookup from this dude. Okay. So you got to get the key and then put it in here, and then we have the AI brain. All right. Well, now what we could do is I could go to create new snippet. And here's what's fantastic is this is building websites with AI version 2.0. All right. And so now I'm going to hit say, make me a homepage for this website. And I'm going to paste my information. All right. So here's what's really cool is I'm just going to hit create an open project, and it's going to generate me not only like just the copy, right? The copy is cool, but we actually need a full interactable website. I need to be able to see the layout. I need to be able to see how it should look. Like I'm going to be staring at a blank screen trying to figure out how to lay all of this copy out, right? Like that's the next step. After I get my copy, what do I do with it next? All right. So if you guys didn't know, I own a website builder called My AI, not My AI Team, silly. Aspirebuilder.com. Okay. So aspirebuilder.com. Okay. So inside of Aspire Builder, it makes it really easy for you to drag and drop and build a website. All right. Like think about this as website building 2.0 or 1.0. All right. I would say 2.0 because all the other ones are like coding and some of them are hard. All right. So Aspire Builder, it makes it incredibly easy to build websites. And here's what's really awesome is this is awesome. You could drag and drop. You could build a website. Absolutely fantastic and super easy and fast. Well, sometimes you actually need to turn that website into like code, right? So this is my AI. I mean, this is my AI team built on Aspire Builder. So if I go into this is our website page that it generated. This is the page, right? So we inserted the copy, and now you can see, welcome to my AI team, your creative powerhouse. All right, content, great content that counts. Why choose my AI team? This created, so when we created this little snippet over here, and we hit create snippet, it generated us this brand new page right here, the entire page for us, right? So this is like a home page that's already built for us. Well, I could come up here and maybe this isn't the right branding colors. Maybe this isn't, I want to make this look way better, right? So I could say, make this 10 times better. And I can hit generate. This is actually, no joke, as silly as this sounds, this is one of my most common things I say to the AI. Make this 10 times better. Because the AI is going to interpret this, and it's going to, it's going to improve the copy, it's going to improve the layout. A lot of times if you're developing software on this, it's going to completely redo your software, and it's going to make it 10 times better. You could say make it 10 times more valuable, make it 10 times more crazy. You can make it 10 times more trippy, make it 10 times more high converting for sales. Depends on what you're trying to build for. This right here, make 10 times better, is extremely powerful. All right, so what is this doing right now? You see this little like loading icon? On the left-hand side, if we hit view code, we could actually see this is all the code that it's actually coding up. In a few seconds, it just updated the code, right? It will update the code right in front of us. All right, so this, all of this, if we ever want to make changes, we could hit change here and hit save. If we ever want to copy this code and embed it into another software, we can by this copy button. We can also download the entire file, and it will download our HTML file for this page. All right, you can see it just updated our code, and check out this. Welcome to my AI team. All right, puts us in a header, adds this little space for our logo, and you can see it completely updated our web page. So a lot of times, how am I building out these websites now? Like, what's the product, right? So if you guys go to, You guys know that right now I'm building a directory. Okay. It's a directory for holistic health providers, right? My wife, she helps nurses and doctors get their knowledge online. All right. Because we want to help them. Okay. So here's what it is. This is my wife's website. And you can see she has at the very top, right up front. Okay. Booking October and November spots for something called a website in a day experience. Okay. So here's what we do. We have a product. This is our, like, how does Jeff and Lauren make money, right? How do they pay for their bills? How do they do this, right? Well, we offer a website in a day experience. All right. The website in a day experience, usually about 50% of the time, turns into a long-term relationship where our clients are paying anywhere from $3K to $5K to $10K a month with us with their website based off what they want to do afterwards. Sometimes they might just pay the Aspire Builder monthly service. Sometimes they might hire us and continue to keep us on because they love having us. They just got a whole website in a day. They got a branding, right? Like, this is the offer. Okay. So you can see we have our like reviews of all the cool sites that we built, all the ones that we built for our this like clientele, and we're showing off what we built. And then you can see right here we have a website in a day. All right, so just the website only is 4K, and then you can see for branding in a website, which includes a logo and branding, is an extra $1,000. So here's what's cool. What does it include? If you look at this, right, like, the reason I'm showing you guys this because this is where like the rubber meets the road. Like, what are we actually delivering to our clients when they purchase and they check out and they said, like, right, this morning my wife went and got like Starbucks, right? She got a coffee and she got a sandwich, right? Well, here's what's really crazy is when you purchase this from Starbucks, I know exactly what I'm getting. I know the end goal. I know what I'm like ordering up front. Like, this is the menu. So this is super easy for me to see what my deliverables are. So when somebody comes here and they purchase a website, a lot of times they need a website, but then they're going to say, well, I need this website and I need this page and I need this page. It's like, no, here's what you get. You get 5 pages on the website. You get a home page, right? You see this? This is the 5-page website. Home page, an about page, a work together or their offers, their services, whatever it is, or their contacts, an application page that's built just for them. Because you see how we're selling an application page. Well, we're talking to nurses and doctors. We know that they need all 5 of these websites, 5 pages. We know this. If you see right here, they have the brand survey and intake. This is what's amazing. This brand survey and intake, actually, guess what I do with this? All I do, I have my clients, our clients, fill out this brand intake and survey. And guess what I do? I come over into my AI team and I say, make me with this survey the homepage. Make me with this survey the about page. Make me with the survey the work together page. And if it sounds silly, this is the way I'm building websites as of today in 2024. A lot of times, this same process, the reason why we offer a website in a day, I promise you guys, I could not do a website in a day to save my life 4 or 5 years ago at all. Because you know how long it would have took me to write all that information, write all the website copy? Holy cow. The actual deliverables for this is not in a day deliverable at all if it was a human. And now here's what's crazy is all of a sudden I'm able to create website pages. At least give me a mock-up, because here's the thing is all of a sudden now I know, hey, okay, I want a header right here. I want a subheader right here, right? Like, I could completely craft this page, whether I'm building it into another website builder or I'm taking this copy or this code and I'm putting it on my own server, or I'm embedding it into my own Aspire Builder account or whatever website building platform you so choose to use. Right? So this whole little process is how we're building websites. So here's what I have for you guys. I have this right here, this document there's 2 documents that we use, okay? So there's 2 Google Docs that I'm going to share with you guys that we use, that we send to our clients, and the clients fill these things out and they send them back to us. And then I literally highlight the whole entire page like this, and I insert into the AI, and I say, make me a website based off of this copy, right? So look at this. I have this little page. I could come over here and I could say, simply update to follow this structure for the homepage, and paste. And then that's it. And then now this AI is going to update to follow my structure that I'm requesting. And it's going to build and update this site. And now I don't have to like worry about how it should be laid out. We created a system to be able to create websites in a day. And then all of a sudden, I mean, like, how many websites in a day do I need to book? Or do you need a book? Does anybody need a book to pay for your month? Like for me, I have to 3 pays for my entire life for everything. 4, I'm balling. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden I'm building a directory, and now all of a sudden we have more leads that potentially I'm going to be able to even deal with. So why am I creating this video? Because guess what? Just what I said, I have more leads that I'm potentially able to deal with. I'm going to need help building home pages, about pages, work together pages, contact pages, application pages. So I create a system to make sure that this gets done correctly every single time. 100%. The same way that I'm doing it today is the same way that somebody's going to do it tomorrow. And here's the thing. It doesn't mean the AI spits out the best stuff every single time, first time. Woohoo. No. Right? AI is still one of those things like, hey there, digital trailblazer. I would never say that, right? Like, look at this. So this now just updated. It has our services, social media management, why choose us, our processes. So this literally spells it out in our actual format that we have for our home pages. If I want to do this, I could say, like, let's just say, right, use red and black. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to say use red and black branding. Here's what I actually do. We create what's called an AI document. All right. So a lot of times we have all of this information of our client. We have all of this information that we gather. Well, here's the cool thing is the AI, unlike us, could handle a massive amount of information and process that in seconds, like absolutely like massive. So here's what I do is I create a little Google Doc with my client over time. And over time, they start writing little codes, like little like words. They start saying, hey, I want this added to the page. They say, hey, I want like, make sure you add this or you talk about this. Or I create their brand colors in their logo. You see how I have their logo URL? So here's what I could do. I could copy this entire thing. This is one I built for my wife. It has her social links, her products, everything on this. Well, I could copy all of this information and I could say, completely update this for this brand. Okay. And then I could paste. And now I hit generate. So over time, you can create these sites that you use and pages that you use and these little Google documents that have all your company's information. So yes, before I used to store the company information, I might just make it where there's like a little button that uses that already in my AI team. So then you could like save branding and all that stuff. That'd be so cool. And then it just like whips it out. Who knows? But essentially, right now in the meantime, I just put it all on a Google document. So each client has that Google document and they have all of that information stored in there. So when I'm building websites, you're going to see it's going to completely brand this whole entire website as if it's my wife's website. You see how she has this orange, she has her logo up here, you know, like all of this stuff, right? So this is going to completely update it and change it to this branding, change it to this company. And I don't have to do all of this anymore. It at least gets me on the paper. So during this, you might use this for mock-ups, like what I'm doing right now. So now I'm giving it a good structure. If you have another website builder, you could go build this in that website builder. Sometimes you might use this as the full output. Like somebody today on my Facebook, they said, Jeff, can we use these instead of just mock-ups? Can we actually use them as full websites? Like, will they work? And the answer is yes, you can, right? It's taking it a little bit further to the next step, but I give you guys the ability to use this code on your own sites, right? And I'm going to show you guys how, right? So if I hit view code, all right, so look at this. Check out this. LC design, branding and website design for website and for healers and health coaches. This is so cool. So look, it added her branding. If I go back over here, you can see I'm on point. Like, this gets me on the board. You know what I mean? Like, this is not something that I have the technical skill to whip out in seconds as I'm sitting here coaching and doing all this stuff. Like, this just does it all for us. Like, instantly. Okay, so you can see a lot of this. If I highlight over this and I click this little website, right, it links to the actual purchase button, right? So like, here's her actual testimonies, right? So there's a lot of these things that it actually, like, you can see here, it goes to the template shop, right? And now we have the whole template shop here. To my website. What you got, Jameson?
My primary question is, so for instance, say I'm utilizing my AI team and writing custom code for a website, and then I create and design each page. First and foremost, how do I get those pages to work together? If I'm like uploading this custom code into a website builder, how do I get those pages to work together first and foremost? And second off, with high level, for instance, you have custom fields and custom values. And when I've had this question for a while, I was actually just getting ready to do a little bit of research on it, but you might be able to answer it for me. So for instance, say I create like the NutriCoach app, and I create an application, and I use CSS to create a custom form. When I paste that custom code and that form into a custom code box within High Level or WordPress or wherever, for instance, High Level, how do I get the custom fields in that form to automatically populate the custom fields within the CRM, within the dashboard? So their name, their email, whatever the case may be. How do I get the CSS and the custom code to link with whatever software I'm implementing it into?
Bet, bro. What a great question. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to say, create me a form on the website page that I'm just going to play with those ones that I can submit a message. Okay. And then we're going to have that generate. So here's what you sell. Let me see if I got this correctly. You want to take the information that we submit on this form and send it into our CRM and map that data to your CRM. Is that correct?
Yep, exactly. So for instance, like the NutriCoach app, if somebody uses it within my High Level CRM, because that's where I have the custom code posted, and they want to save their results, for instance, how can I make it to where when they save their results, it adds it to a custom object or a custom field or custom value, whatever the case may be?
I'm going to show you right now. All right, cool. So here's what's really cool. So there's something called APIs. Okay. APIs and webhooks. All right. So APIs and webhooks, all that is behind the scenes sending information and data between softwares. That's it. It's nothing fancy, right? It's like, imagine if you just told me, right, your name is Jameson and you just told me your phone number. All right. But imagine if there's a cute girl that wants your phone number. Well, if I'm an API and you're wanting to get her, she wants your number, you're going to tell me your number and I'm going to go tell her your phone number, your information. I'm the middleman. Okay. That's it. So an API is what sends it and a webhook is what catches it. So now she's going to take that phone number and she's going to input it into her phone. That's it. That's a human version of an API, right? Hey, Jameson, this girl, she likes you. What's your phone number? And you're going to be like, here's her phone number. Here's my phone number. And I'm going to be like, hey, Sarah, this is Jameson's phone number. And she's going to type it in and she's going to take your phone number. That's a human version of an API. Online, all this is, right? So now we have this little apply to work with me. Thank you for this interest. Let's see where our form is. Contact us. Boom. I can insert my information. All right. And then we're going to sit message. I'm going to say hello. And now I'm going to hit send. Thank you. But where'd it go? It didn't go anywhere. So here's what we're going to do. Okay. So if I go into something called Go High Level, which is what you're talking about, right? And inside Go High Level, they have something called automations. All right. So this is just the basic. Most, I'm going to say most. There's something called like Make, right? Make allows you to do this too. So you can connect 90% of the softwares on the internet, or Zapier. All right. The cool thing about Go High Level, it's absolutely fantastic. You could literally create this with this. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a new workflow in Go High Level. And then, cool. And then we're going to add a new trigger. Okay. We're going to look for the trigger, and it's going to be called Inbound Webhook. Inbound Webhook allows us to catch and receive any data, no matter what. If you see, this is a premium version. So if you don't want to use the premium version and you're just sending contacts or you're just sending simple things, you could use the API from Go High Level, right? You could go to Go High Level's API and you could use that. However, I'll just show you the inbound webhook. All right, so you see the inbound webhook, you see how it gives us this URL. This URL tells us where to send the data. That's it. So I'm going to copy this information and I'm going to go back into here. And now I'm going to say, send the form info to this URL. Boom, baby. And then paste. And I'm going to hit generate. I don't have to know the code. This is crazy. I know like the code to write, how to write webhooks and send all of that technical information. Like literally the AI is doing this little magic trick. And I'm like, sipping coffee, right? Like this is something that it's like, how do we connect these websites? Well, watch this. It's going to send this data to this webhook, and then we're going to be able to submit this. And in a few seconds, we're going to be able to come over here and see this data. It's really fun. All right. So I'm going to hide this part. All right. So this is going to update. And here's what's crazy is you're not actually going to see like nothing on this page is really going to change. Like it's not going to look different. But if we go into this code, once this is done, right now, we just have this form, right? So it just says form. I mean, if you could read code, that's awesome. I'm impressed. I'm learning, right? I'm learning. So right now, inside this script function, this is like the actual functions. You can see it's not sending the data. It's just basically saying, this bit right here, it says contact form. Here's a little comment. Here, you will typically send this data to a server. That's what we're going to do right now, okay? That's what the contact is saying inside this. However, right now, it's just basically saying form submitted, yay. Well, we're updating the code just like what you're requesting, Jameson. It's going to update it, and it's going to send this data to our server, okay? And now we just connected to Go High Level. You could do this with most APIs, even if you have Bubble, or you might be sending this stuff to a spreadsheet. Well, Google Spreadsheets have an API. So there's tons of ways you could do this and connect it to your
So
own.
if you were doing it with an API endpoint, you would just post the API endpoint.
1000%, right? So now I'll hit my information. Check this. And I'll put, right? So legend. All right. Jameson is a legend. Send message. Thank you for interest. Our team will contact you shortly. All right. And now you see over here how it says fetch sample request. All right, it says I have it. I'm going to hit save trigger. Mapping reference is required. All right, check for new updates. No results found. Save. Hopefully it works. Let's check. What's up? Let me see. Let me see. Don't embarrass me in front of my friends. Okay. All right, let's try it again. All right, so I'm going to refresh this page. All right. Refresh this page and send it again. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, maybe that was it. Who knows?
Do we all have access to the High Level through Callan's agency, right? Because that's how you're in it with my AI team.
That is correct. It is a homie hookup right now. Yes.
Okay.
If you guys want a sub account, just shoot me a message and I'll make you one.
Sweet. Jameson is the new homie.
I pay every month for an agency account, and I can create unlimited sub accounts. If one of you guys wants a sub account, shoot me a message.
Dude.
Cool. Yeah, I have one in another group. I just wasn't sure. Sometimes it's easier to share, assets to each other when you're in the same agency
Yeah,
account.
I'm happy to help anybody set up a sub account if you'd like to. So
Sweet. Thanks, James.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna say make this work 100% because for some reason it's not working. All right, and I'm just gonna hit generate. So if it ever happens, like that's literally what I do. You could view the code. I have never viewed the code and be like, oh, this is where it's making the error. I've never done that. Here's what I do if I have issues, okay? There's this chat option. So I could come up here on this left-hand side and I could chat and I could say, why isn't this sending the data? And then I could send. And I could sit here and chat. The cool thing about this chat right here, it has complete knowledge of your code. So if you ever you need someone to have full knowledge because sometimes this is what's going to happen. Like this is going to know better instead of asking me like, hey, Jeff, why isn't this working? I don't know. Ask the AI. Okay. Like this is where you have the reset chat up here. So if your conversation gets too long, you could reset it. And then your response is going to be right here. Okay. So we have this. We also have the history. Let's just say for some reason it messes up. You can also go back in history and go back into a previous code version. So you do have those other ones too, as those options. So let's see. Hopefully this one will work next.
maybe try publishing that workflow. That might be why.
Oh yeah, let's see. All right.
Within high level.
All right. A mapping reference is required for an inbound webhook trigger. Okay. Save trigger. Let's see. If this one doesn't work, let's see. Delete, reload, go high level. So now here's what I have done. Basically, because I just used to go high level and now I'm reloading it. It's not going to be the same URL. It's not going to be the same webhook URL all the time. They're actually going to give me a brand new one. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go into the code. One is you could tell the AI, hey, I just need a new inbound webhook, right? So I'm going to hit copy and I could go in here and essentially if I hit view code, I can't update, right? Because over time you start to read the code, right? I can just sit here and update basically the code directly, right? So I know this is exactly where it's sending, and then I can update that code directly, and then I could hit save code, right? So now I could do this, and I could say hello. Hopefully it works. Please. All right, it's still not working. What the heck? All right. Super, super strange. All right, so it works 99% of the time. Let me just kind of show you an example, right? Let's just say if it was to send a bubble or to another area, information. Let me pull in here. So it's strange it's not getting it. So I'll just see if it's sending it all, right? So if I go into Bubble has something called backend workflows, and essentially it gives you the ability to catch a webhook, right? So if I go to new API, so I'm on live data. All right, so if I go to new API right here, and right here, so if I go to API workflow, and any second, this is essentially catching a premium webhook. So where'd it go? Why is this not popping up? Let's go. All right, so if we go here to this little we could name it. So test mode. All right. And I could say parameter definition, and I could say detect data. And now we have this little detect data. This is the same thing as that webhook URL. So let's just check if it's Go High Level or if it's my AI team. So if I go down here, right here where it says post, I'm going to paste this and I'm going to hit save code. So now if I go down here, let's check. Hello. Send message inside bubble. All right. It's my AI team. It's my AI team. At least we diagnose where the problem is. All right, cool. So we know this one is not sending. Okay, so very interesting. Okay, so let's see what this chat says. Cross-reference, double check it's active. All right. So interesting. Can you make sure the contact form sends the submit data to this URL? Completely redo what you have now because it does not work. All right, cool. And we shall see. So essentially we tested it in 2 areas. So we tested it over here to see if we're receiving it in bubble. Well, we're not. So we at least know that it's not Go High Level, it's actual R code, right? So that's kind of like narrowing down where is the error if we're trying to connect it into something.
Being able to troubleshoot.
Yeah, like the other option is right here, there's an inspect option. And if you look on here, we could actually see in our console, you see right here, we're getting this error, auto run timeout, and then it has all this information, object and all this stuff. This is essentially like sending over this information. Well, actually, here's what's crazy is if I go to cancel and you see how it says this workflow can be run without authentication and ignore privacy rules, it's probably this. So I'm going to check this. So essentially what we could do is also copy this error right here, and I could load this error into the AI and say, fix this, which is what I'll do next. So if it doesn't work still. So now I'll have detect data. Any second. Have you guys ever got errors like this that you have to try to figure out and work through by using the software?
A lot, especially when I'm trying to do like create my own application for and send out API and use API endpoints. I'm super new to all this, so it's creating applications has been very tricky. But it's really, as you had mentioned before, all you really have to do is ask the AI and it will guide you through every step.
100%. And it's kind of knowing where to look, right? So if you know where this inspect is, so right now the AI just updated it, right? Well, if I hit console, well, I'm getting this error, okay? Like these little errors are errors. So what I do is I don't know what they say. So I'll like expand all of them so the AI could read it all. And then I'll copy the whole thing, okay? And I'll say, I got this error when submitting the form. And then I'll paste it. And most of the time, the AI will know what to do with the error because we're giving it like, here's what's happening. And now it could see, okay, like, oh, I didn't know that was happening. Cool. This is what I'll do. Okay. So it might be expecting some data or whatever it is. I don't know what all this is, what all this means. So essentially this is the computer knows all this. So hopefully this is us sending it. Most of the time you could read it, but it just says auto run timeout. Like, how do I fix this? So going to that inspect console, right clicking and then inspecting. And then right here, it says console up here. That's a good place to find those errors. So yeah, most of the time, those little, like those things fix it. Another thing is also like copying in the like API documentation. But there's no API documentation. We just want to send the data. But if you are trying to connect an API, I usually recopy the API documentation right into it and say, fix this. and then it will fix it and connects to stuff. All right, so hopefully this one works this time. So if not, I don't know what to tell you guys. We might just have to, like, sometimes I start over, as crazy as it sounds, and just start from the basics. So we might do that next if it doesn't work. So like literally I'll start right from scratch and hey, I'll get the form connected first and then I'll work from there, is usually if I go, because I don't want to like build the whole page. Like it's cool if it looks beautiful, but if it actually doesn't work. All right, so refresh. It doesn't look like it did anything, unfortunately. Yeah, so let's check this. Information, still not sending. Okay, so here's what I'll do. I'll go to history and I'll hit restart. All right, and I'll hit restart. And what I'll do is I will just copy this little URL, even if I'm in Go High Level. So let's just do it what we do, right? I'll just say, create me a contact form that sends the data to this webhook URL. Okay, and then I'll paste it and I'll hit generate. So now we're just kind of just starting right from scratch, at least with this project. So there's hopefully not a lot of other things that are inflicting with this. And what I'll do is I'll usually take this code once it's done and I'll say like, hey, add this code to my other site, right? So now we have this contact, we'll have our information, and I'll say hello, and I'll hit send. Message sent successfully. If I'll come over here into our payload, you can see at least we have our request, okay? So now it actually sent because we just started from scratch, okay? So you can see it literally sent 5 seconds ago. If I scroll down, you see how it says name, Jeffrey, email, phone number, message, hello, all in here.
We're legends.
So sometimes
It's really
go ahead.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt you. It's really interesting that this is being brought up because how you were asking, like, has anybody had problems with errors? And it's really interesting that you bring this up because this is exactly what I've done with each of my applications. I focus on the function first. What is it supposed to do? Was it supposed to use an API endpoint? Is it supposed to make a calculation? Is it supposed to articulate a response with the AI? What is supposed to take place? I focus on that first and then build up the form of it and the aesthetics of it afterwards. And that seems to be working much better for me rather than saying, I want to create an app for nutritional coaching and I want it to create meal plans and and then adding the API endpoint. It seems like it confuses the AI to go into aesthetics and then back to function. It works a lot better when you start out with the basis in the context of what it is you're trying to accomplish in the first place, and then give it all the context in regards to pictures, copy, etc. I just wanted to point that out. That's one thing that I've been doing, and it really seems to function a lot better when you focus on the function first and then form second.
Yeah, it makes tons of sense. That's kind of what we talked about a week or two ago, right, Jeff? Is kind of not how I remember years ago when I was taking computer class in college and stuff, that was the mindset. You know, you have to understand where you're going so that otherwise you get to a certain spot and then you have to basically start over with version 2. So it's very similar to what Jameson just said. It's perfect.
So maybe now if you took the LC, if you go back into the history and you take that code and then you feed that back into the AI and you're like, okay, now use this for the form. Now that we have the function down.
1000%. And here's what I did. I basically went over here and I said, I grabbed my AI document, right? And now I said, completely brand this page, right? Completely brand this page. And I pasted in my AI document. And now it's going to brand this page for us, our LC Design contact page. And now our form is already connected, right? Like this works now. And then now in a few seconds, here's what's really cool, right? So I have LC Design. Let's see, right? We have a contact us. Oh, cool. Put in a little contact us pop-up. Oh, that's what's up. Okay. All right. I dig it. All right. So we have a little contact us and we have a message. So if I put hello, here's what I could do. Inside this view code, same thing. I could copy this website URL. So if this is sending it to Bubble. So you might Bubble, make, go high level. It doesn't matter what it is. Anything that could catch that webhook, right? All we have to do is come in here. So all the things. I love that song. All right now. And now I can paste my URL here. And if I hit save and I go to contact us now, I could send my message, right? And I could say hello again, right? And I can hit send. And then we're going to have message sent successfully. And Bubble over here just caught that data now. So you could send this data to anything. I could literally build entire software off of front-end data now, off of forms, because now I can map this software. I could map this data. If I wanted to go into Go High Level and I hit Save Trigger, I can now, the next thing I could do is hit Create Contact, and I could map it based off of our information from our questions up top now. I could pull in, like, if I want to save the first name, well, I could get the information. You see how it says inbound webhook trigger? Well, I could do name, and I could do email, and I could do phone number and message. All of the stuff is inside Go High Level for us to map that data now inside here. So here's what's cool is Go High Level now has custom objects. You could build a lot of stuff inside Go High Level with this. I mean, look, Google Sheets is connected into this. I mean, like, that makes it where you could build full directories based off of this, because you guys saw how we connected our Google Sheets, right? If we have a Google Sheet full of data, right? So like basically, like, let's just say this is 170 HVAC contacts, right? Like literally this is 175 HVAC contacts here in Las Vegas. All right. If I wanted to create a full directory off of this, well, we can based off of this, right? So I could say file, I could come down here and share. There's publish to web, which is really cool. So we could publish to web and publish as a CSV, and we could hit publish. And then this will actually give us a like CSV, right? So we can now publish this, and we could come over here and I could say create snippet. I could say create me a directory for this Google Sheet. All right, and then paste, and then I'll grab their headers of this Google Sheet. So here's what's cool is now you can make dynamic web pages. It's not just simple websites, right? And I say, here are the headers, and then I'll paste. And this will completely, like, what I do is I copy the first 2 rows of our CSV, and then that essentially gives us what the header is, and then that gives us what our directory information is. Like, it actually gives our first line of information. And so now we'll have like an entire directory. This is 100. Actually, I think, yeah, this is more. This is 500 HVAC companies, I believe, in Las Vegas, because it's hot here. We need it. So here's what's cool is I usually take this document. I take these forms that our customers fill out. Sometimes they'll even create a Google Sheet that has information of maybe their affiliate products or anything like that. And I'll create a full directory off of these. So now this is the business directory. You can see I instantly just connected to this entire directory. Like, and all this is doing is referencing a Google Sheet, right? So that might be you connecting to an API. All a Google Sheet is basically giving me a API. When I call that sheet, essentially it is just data displayed. Well, all we're doing whenever we display data in a directory or in a database, this is what it's doing, right? So now we have all of these, and I can see their address, I can see their phone number, like all of this information. And so you can build this, and now I can say make it 10 times better, or make it where I can embed this. Now, if we want to take this site, right? This site looks great, right? Maybe it's not the best. I can do better. But if I want to take this code now and I want to add it to Go High Level, or if I want to add it to Aspire Builder, let me show you guys. So if I go into this page and I go to pages and I go to create new page, and I'll just go to new pages. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to empty pages, right? And I'm going to say, maybe this is my home page, right? I'm going to say home page. This is obviously a test, right? And so I'm going to home page test, and I'm going to add. And here's what's cool is Aspire Builder is absolutely wonderful to build, and Go High Level is absolutely wonderful to build in, right? You could just click this little widget and you could drag text on the page, and you could build, you could say hello, right? You could build your site from here. However, this is like building sites the older way. Well, here's what we could also do is I could go over here, and there's something called this code widget. And I could take the code widget and I could take the code that my AI team gives. All right, my AI team over here, it gives you the code. It also gives you the download file. So if you have your own server and you want to upload this stuff to your own server, you own the full code that my AI team codes. We could see the code right here, or I could hit Command A and it copy the whole thing, right? Control C and Control V. And I'll go into Aspire Builder and I'll hit paste, right? I'll hit paste. And what happens is it pastes this code, and you can see what happens, right? We have this code here. And if I go to right here and I hit preview website, well, what just happened is this just embedded the entire code right into our site. So now you don't have to sit here and make the site. I have a little contact us button. And now I could literally hit contact. And if I go over here to test it again, right, detect data, I literally just added an entire contact us function onto the site, right? So if I hit here and I say hello Jeff, to make sure that we're actually sending just this message, boom, message sent. I could come over here and it says hello Jeff. We literally just added this form and embedded it right into our website builder. If you're doing that on Go High Level, you could do that exact same thing. And now you could embed that. They have the little custom HTML widget, and you can embed it. Sometimes you might embed it. Like today, somebody says, hey, when I embed this site, sometimes it doesn't look exactly like it normally looks. Well, that's because when you're embedding this site, you're actually embedding this custom code, but this custom code is fully, like, how to explain it? It's interacting with the other code on the website. So if you see right here, if I hit body class, and then you see it actually says like how to stylize like the header and how to stylize a lot of the web page information. If you want it to make it where it doesn't, you got to tell the AI, come over here and say, hey, I'm gonna embed this onto another page that has HTML and CSS already. Can you make sure this never, capital never interacts with the other code on the site? All right, so now when I embed this code to the code embed. All right, so now you can embed this code to Wix, to Go High Level, to my AI, to Aspire Builder, whatever it is, and it's not going to, the AI is going to know, hey, I need to change the names, I need to change the properties, I need to change the titles. It changes all the stuff that's going to be affecting and messing with the code on the other website builder. It's going to update those things. So that's just something that I've learned over time. If you are using an external build, if not, let's just say you do this copy download file, that's going to make it where it downloads the entire index.html file and you own the entire page. So, Jameson.
So, next question, with, say I didn't want to use High Level, I just wanted to set up my own backend server for $17 a month, buy URLs and build websites that way.
Yes.
If I were to do it that way, how do I get, like, and I build a home page and an about page and the services page, in the navigation bar up top, how do I get each one of those pages to link together? When somebody clicks on the the homepage, how do I get it to link to the homepage if I'm doing it all within my own server? Because for instance, in high level, I can just write the custom code and then add my own header bar and use the header bars within high level. But if I'm doing it within my own server, I need to make sure that each one of those pages link together properly.
That is absolutely correct. Man, you are asking all the right questions today. All right, cool. So we are going to show you. So essentially, let me see if I understand what you're asking. You want to take these web pages now, and you want to set it up on your own server, and you want to make it where the about page is connected to the about page, the thank you pages, or the contact us page is connected to the contact us page.
Yeah, and when they click from page to page, or if they click back, it'll take them back to the home page, etc. Basically, how do we make each one of the website pages that we code function like a standard website?
Beautiful. Let me show you. Okay, so here's what we're going to do is I'm going to go into this is my Namecheap account, right? I have a ton of websites on here, and this is my little server. So I have a cPanel server. Okay, so I'm going to log into cPanel, and let's see. So here's what the very first thing I'm going to do is I want this to be set up on a subdomain. Okay, so I'm going to set up a subdomain because I don't want it to be on my main domain. I already have stuff on my main domain. So I'm going to go into domains. Have to run later, Troy. Talk soon. Okay, so I'm going to hit create new domain, and I'm going to set up this, and I'm going to call this page, I'm going to call it blog just for now, because I'll probably make a blog in the future. All right, so I'm going to call this blog, and I'm going to call this holistichealthproviders.com.blog. Okay, so I'm going to hit submit. So this creates, what does a subdomain create? What is actually a subdomain? So a subdomain is just literally creates us a folder. If I go to File Manager, check out this. If I go to File Manager and I go into here, you see how I just created a folder called blog holistichealthproviders.com. Like, that's it. All I did was create a folder. And basically this, I don't know what this cg-bin is, but basically this is an empty folder. Okay. That's all this is. Okay. So here's what I could do. If I go into this web page, and let's just say this was my home page, right? Like, I'm going to, for the sake of this, I'm going to say, let's just say this is my home page, right? And I could go to view code, and I'm going to hit download file. Okay. So it just downloaded us our file. Okay. So for me, you guys can't see it, but it says index23-html. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back into my cPanel, and I'm going to click upload, and I'm going to hit select file. And I'm going to go to that download, and you see right here, you see how it says index23 HTML? Well, now what's happened? I just uploaded my file that I downloaded from my AI team. Well, if I go to this URL right here, right, this is the blog.holistichealthproviders.com. All right, so the only thing is I might have the blog, this cPanel server, I might have this domain, the main domain pointed to another site. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do this on the same thing that we're doing. I'm just going to do this on a different domain because I think I have the main domain of that one pointed to a different site. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back again, right? We're going to go to domains. I'm going to go into this one. This is called the humansbehindai.com. All right, and I know this one's thing, so I'm going to say blog.humans, right? And I'm going to submit. I'm going to go back to tools, back to our file manager, and you're going to see I just created this blog, okay? So this is essentially right where we are with the other one, and I'm going to go back to upload, and I'm going to upload that same file because it doesn't matter what site you put it on, right? It's just a file. And you can see if I go to this website URL now, if I go to this website URL, there's nothing here, right? So if I hit refresh, now watch what happens. If you see how it says index23.html, I actually need to rename this to just be index.html. Okay. So the only reason I have it wasn't named originally that is because I have multiple index files. Okay. So what happens is the index file is the main root domain of your domain or your subdomain. So now if I hit refresh, don't make me a liar, please. Refresh. Oh, come on. Why this? Dude, I swear this works. All right. It might just take a second to populate, but
Sorry, I'm asking all the hard questions today.
no, like sometimes the domains take a few seconds to populate, right? So so we'll just show this here. Okay. So if I go into my AI team, if this happens, so like literally it just takes a few seconds to populate, is what I'm suspecting on this one. So let's see. If I go into my AI team cPanel and let me just use a domain subdomain that's already set up. Okay, so you see how this one says tools.myAIteam? And this one essentially says index.html. Well, if I go to this page, this is what this page is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because I don't really need this one right now, I'm going to rename this and rename this for, I can see I do this a lot. All right, so I'm going to upload. We're going to try this again. So if I refresh this index page, you can see if I refresh this, I probably broke this, right? It probably doesn't have anything here. All right, now it has simple website scraping dashboard. All right, so let's see. All right, we're gonna copy this one. I do want to get this one working, man. Still probably not loaded. Nope. Okay, so we're gonna go here. How about this one? Nope. Okay. We're just going to use one that's already set up. Okay. So essentially, we are in this tools. Okay. And you can see right here, I also have an index.php file. So the index.php file is the one that we are seeing right here, which is if I go to tools.myAIteam, you could also have an index as your main little site. So if we go here, let me close this. All right, and rename this also. And you can see this is the index.23. If I rename this to actually just be index, I can hit rename file. Now if I refresh this, you can see it's this LC design site, okay? So essentially I just have this domain, subdomain set up already. And so it's like, we don't have to wait on it, like figuring, like the propagating is what it's called. All right, but if you see right here, if I actually click the about page, nothing happens. You can see up here, nothing happens. It just adds this little like hashtag. All right, so it's not changing. Well, here's what we could do. Okay, so I could go into here, into our coding thing, and I could say, make this the about page, okay? And it will fully update it. And now you see how we have this little like, this document here, right? Well, what I like to do is I will come over here. You see how this tools is our homepage? Well, this is our domain, right? Whatever our index file is, it's going to be our main subdomain or our main domain, okay? So if we want this to be on the about page, well, here's what we could do. Now we could say, here's my main domain. And if I go into this little document, I'll put page URLs, and then I'll put homepage, and I'll put my URL right here. Okay, so I'll copy this URL, and I'll paste the URL, whatever your URL is. So this is my URL. Well, now the about page is going to be this page /about.index or HTML. All right, so it could be /about. All right, so watch this. So if I go into this, here's now about LC Design Company, meet Lauren Caldwell. Okay, so here's what I could do is I could come into this and I could say update, usually what I'll do is I'll have the about page and I'll have like the service page and I'll have the portfolio page. Okay, so I'll literally create the header for each one of these. So let's go back into here. And then I'll put like services. And then it will be the same thing, okay? Services right here, .html. But it will be the services page. Okay, and then I will copy this and I will say update the header to go to these URLs, and then I'll paste it. And now it's going to update these. And then in a few seconds, once it's done updating, we will put this code onto our server. But here's the thing is we already have an index page, so we don't want it to be at this web page, right? We actually want it to be at the about page because this is going to be the about page. If we ever want to update this code, let's just say over time you start to like, okay, I know I could like manually update some basic code, such as like updating your stuff. You could do edit and you could edit the code. So now you see right here how I have like my home pages. So this is the code for this main page right here. Right? So if I wanted to go to the about page, well, I could read code over time. So if I scroll down to this line 37, you see how it says href and then it says hashtag right here. I know that this home, this is the about, this is the service portfolio. I know that anything in the hashtag, this right here is the link. So over time, you start to learn like, okay, this is how you like read code. So I know I could just manually update the code. Well, this just updated us the code. If I scroll down here, you see how it says href right here, and then it says tools.myaiteam.com. Then it says tools.myaiteam.com/HTML. So you could see that it's updating this code right here. So now I could hit download file, and I could go into our file, and I can upload a new file. Select file. I just downloaded this latest index file. So it's going to be index. And what I'm going to do is I don't want to index -24. I'm going to actually rename this to about. And then I'm going to hit about. Okay. So now I'm going to hit save. And then what's going to happen is now if I go to here, and I could literally update the code just right here, right? So I could literally take this and I could copy this. Oops, back. I could copy this page and I could manually update the code here. And I could say, oh, wait, that's the home page. So I'll just leave that one there. And then I'll have here, and this will say about.html. About. Let's just see if the about works without having to put the HTML. So if I hit refresh and I click this, let's see, any second now. All right, and I click this, you can see down here, it goes to the about 404 page because it needs to have that html.index page in it. You could write PHP code to fix that. Like, let's just say you don't want that in there. You could tell the AI, if you really care about that, you could tell it to fix it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into back to my edit, and I'm going to hit edit.html. Let's go about.html. And then I'm going to hit save, refresh this page, go back, click on the about page, go HTML, boom. All right, so now we have our about page here. So if I click on home, home works and it goes to this main page, right? You see that? This is the main URL. And if I click on the about page, it goes to this about LC Design. You see that? Boom. Now we have the hello, and now we have an about page here with our contact us button. Let's go. So that works. So you can see that we could connect them up here, if that makes sense. Does that answer your question, Jameson?
Yeah, absolutely. I greatly appreciate you.
Word. Now here's what's really cool. One of my favorite things, there's something called PHP, okay? PHP is a new coding language that I'm learning about, and I don't know too much about it. Okay, I really don't. It's one of those things that the AI is teaching me. But check out this. So I could say I want to create blogs on my site. Okay, watch this. Can you make it so I can create and submit a new blog post and it uploads it to my cPanel server, okay, as a page, okay? And now, and then I can view it, and it looks beautiful and branded, okay? So now watch this. I'm going to create, completely redo this page. Redo this page to make it happen. Okay. I'm going to say use PHP. All right. Whatever that is. All right. All right. So now what it's going to do, it's going to give us back a funky page. Okay. I just want to let you know, because here's the thing is my AI team isn't actually built to handle PHP, but because we're talking about servers are uniquely handled to handle PHP. PHP is actually a back-end server script. If my AI team one day could run PHP, woo, that's going to be phenomenal. If there's any coders out there that can make that happen. All right, so right now it's just on Bubble. All right, so here's the cool thing. So it's going to update this. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a brand new page to be able to make us blogs. And now we're literally making dynamic pages with a PHP script that this created, and it's literally gonna make us brand new pages in our server. Right? Look at this. Like, check out this. Here's a little create new page. You see how it has like all of this like funkiness? What is this? Right? So this is the code. So if I go to here and I go to download file again, you can either download file or you could copy this code and create a new file on your server. Right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into here, and this is our that's the tool. So that was the right one. All right. So I'm going to go into here and I'm going to go to upload this new script that I just created. And this one, I'm going to call this one, basically this is a index.24 or like 25. I'm going to rename this. You see how it's like renaming this? This is actually the file extension. So I'm going to rename this and I'm going to call this, this is a PHP file. So I'm going to say blog submit.php. Okay. And I'm going to rename. And this is now a blog submit. So here's what is going to happen. I'm going to go to this site. I'm going to go to that page, blog submit.php, and watch. Now we have this blog submit page. Literally. Cannot modify header. Header already started. Awesome. I don't know what any of that says, but let's just try. So I'm going to hit title. I'm going to say new blog post. Content was here. All right. Submit. All right. It gave me this error. I don't know what that means. Okay. So it says has no control. I don't know what any of this means. Okay. So, and I can't even copy this error message. So I'm just going to hit OK. And I'm going to go into my server and I'm going to hit refresh and let's check. Okay. So there's no new blog submit, but there's an error log. Woohoo. All right. But that's not from today. Last modified, not today. Bummer. Okay. So what I could do is I could say, I could always come back here and you could work with this, right? So I could say, make sure this works 1000% on my cPanel server. How do you spell server? Server. Thanks, babe. I forgot ease existed. All right. There you go. All right, server. All right, cool. So it is now updating it, hopefully, and we'll have that basically where we could use dynamics. So the reason why I talk about this PHP over time, this is where I personally feel like my next step of my journey is for coding. I want to be able to make it where I can upload and give entire software based off of PHP scripts. Entire software. I want to be able to send you an entire software and then you be able to like somehow set it up on your server. And then there's like a login button. There's an admin area. There's a place that you could switch out your logo and it magically switches out your logo on every single page. Like those are the things that I want to learn how to create. Okay, so this will now update this. It just did this. I'm going to go to view code and I'm going to copy this code and I'm going to show you how to update this so we don't have to do this so much, right? So I'm going to hit reload and you see how it has the blog submit PHP. I'm going to edit and I could just Control Alt and then paste and I'm going to hit save. And I'm going to go back to this page. We have our blog posts, title. All right, title, hello, submit, hello, to, and we're going to hit submit. We still got an error. Nice. All right, not a website company, no control. All right, I don't know what this says. All right, hopefully we have an error submit thing. So at least you can see, even if the AI didn't code it perfectly, you can at least see this process of us building software even further. And I mean, there's some really fun things that you could build on this. So tracker text.
Do we have to turn it into a PHP to be able to launch it on our own server?
No, you could see I have that HTML, the index, and then you also could do PHP. So you could keep it as the HTML. The PHP, when you save it as the PHP file, usually it will run as a PHP file, and then it will like the PHP part runs on your server. So you could also like just keep it as the HTML index, just like I did. And then
essentially the primary point is to not expose our code and not expose API endpoints, essentially.
Yeah, now here's what's cool is
create your own API endpoint from the server, and then you use that API.
If you did have an API that you were using in your index, your HTML index file, I would highly recommend saying, take my API and put it into the PHP file. And now all of a sudden you're going to call that PHP script, even if it's saved as this, because the PHP script actually isn't rendered on the site. It's server side. So now it's going to call the server side script and now it's going to return. So you could absolutely connect and put your APIs in the PHP, and then you could call your PHP script as an API too. So that's literally what I do a lot of times is I say, set up this API as a PHP script, make it where I can call as an API, and then you put your PHP script on your own server. So you see how I just called this tools.this? A lot of times the tools, you see how I have tracker.php? I mean, I don't mean to brag here, but watch this. So like tracker.php. This is probably one of the coolest things I've ever created. You see this little tiny pixel on the screen?
Yeah.
A little tiny dot right here in this pixel. That actually is a website tracker that tracks analytics. I'm able to track, and then I have a tracker log.txt right here. And this is an entire text file. I could even go to this tracker logs.txt underscore. So tracker logs.txt. And we could go to this page. I think it's just a little download page. But I could actually see, here's what's really crazy. Let me just share my full screen. This is a code that literally I could install on any of my websites. And I could track a full entire, like what happens. And like, I could track their IP address, when they were there, what sites they're using, like where they came from. Like this is a full like Google Analytics tracker that I have installed on a little tiny pixel, and I could install on any of my websites. And this thing is what tracks my data. And so that is all on here on PHP, you know? And so it's pretty wild what you could build off of this. And then I basically could add this little PHP tracker into any of my sites, and then I could track a whole bunch of data, you know? And so
yeah, so you just add that code you add that PHP script to any of your sites, and it automatically tracks and logs everything.
Yeah, and it sends it over to this text file, and then I have a script that reads this text file, and I can see live data like a Google Analytics. And I mean, dude, this is, I don't even know what that is. All of a sudden, I was like, wow, can I track people? And I was like, I wonder if I can get people's addresses.
That's wild.
Yes, you can. You can narrow down people's zip codes, and it's pretty cool. Like, it's cool what you can do, because that's all you're getting IP address information, and that you can reverse IP address search, and it's pretty crazy.
Find out everything.
Dude,
Yeah.
find everything. It's really wild what you can do with code. And you're just telling the AI, hey, I want a code that can do this. And then this PHP script, look, if I hit view, I mean, this is a tracker information. Look what it's getting. Like, get information, get all the browser information, get their screen resolution, get the advisor type, like, get their time zone.
So literally, to make that, you were just did it the same as you do everything. Yeah, I'm just talking to the AI and saying, build me a tracker that I can embed in my site.
Yep. And so
That's
a lot of times I'm using this code right here. So what I'm doing is I'll go to this chat right here, and sometimes you need scripts that aren't, basically my AI team is going to give you the front end script, right? So that's what this writes for us. So now if I wanted to actually connect into this code, right? So let's just say I have this tracker log, right? So I want to actually connect into this code here. I could actually say, let's see, where's this one? So this is my tracker log text. If I go into this, I could say view, and that is tracker log text. If I go to edit, let's see. Oh wait, that's the PHP. So this gives us where I could actually edit this. So here's what's really cool. This little address up here, believe it or not, this address is actually a live API. It's actually going to call this API, and it's going to display this data. So here's what I could do is I could say create snippet, and I could say, give me a dashboard for this. And then I'll paste my API here. And then I'll just come into here, into my text file. And then I could grab this, and I could say, here is example data. It pulls, make it live. Boom. And then I paste it. And now what it's going to do, I could literally create that track. I could put that little pixel on my site. That pixel will create information. And then this is going to connect to that front end, because a URL, anytime you think of a URL, behind the scenes, it's really sending in data. Well, anytime you have something connect to our URL, it's going to grab that data and pull that data back. And so literally, like, understanding how APIs work and how URLs work. A URL is like an API. The only thing is it's pulling back from the API is the HTML. Whenever I see this whole website, it pulls back all the HTML, the CSS, everything. Well, if I just pull back this, look, it just connected to this file, which now I could have live data. And it will, as soon as it loads.
And so how do we connect the PHP? I understand how to turn the HTML into a PHP. How do we connect the PHP and HTML and make it to where the HTML on the front end from the user perspective is utilizing an API from the PHP script?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question. So you remember our website scraping class? All right, so here is a little shameless plug, right? So we have inside our coaching class, we have what's called the Code Vault. All right, so inside the Code Vault gives you access to essentially the website scraper, okay? Inside the website scraper, that basically, I wrote a code and I said, connect this website scraper to make it where it's an API. And now the code is behind the scenes. And then essentially it creates that API code. So if I go into our groups and let's see, let's go to, actually, I think it's offers, and into our courses. and Code Vault, right? So if I hit preview in our Code Vault has a couple things. So if I ever want to interact with this thing, all right. You guys should all have access last time. I think I gave you guys all access to the Code Vault last time.
I have access, yeah.
Cool. So here's what's cool is basically what I did is I said, create this code where it scrapes a website for content. From that code, I want you to actually take that information and like make it into an API that I could call. And now I could call that API, right? So if I click on this Code Vault area, you can see that we have the website scraper code, and then we have the code in action, and then we have the code crawl script. If you go through these trainings, this shows us how we're connecting those scripts. So this is the website scraper. We're literally connecting that script. This is the PHP script that we're connecting. And you put that script on your own site. And then you call it from an API. And now you could build software based off of that. And so that's you creating an API on your own server. Well, why would you want to ever do that, silly, right? So if I go to a site called rapidapi.com, this is just something that I've been basically experimenting and playing with the last few days, few months. Rapid API allows you to sell APIs. So literally on here, I go to Studio and I set up that API and I could sell this website scraper, the exact one I give to you guys. I'm selling on this directory site of a whole bunch of APIs. If I go to analytics right now, check out this. I literally set this code up months ago. Look at this, months ago. I've had 24,000 calls. Yesterday, I had 9,000 calls to this script. 9,000 calls, right? If you look at this, if I hit revenue analytics, just a chill $311 coming back. This month, $221 just from this script, and I haven't done anything. All I did.
Can you control how much you charge on there?
You sure can. Yep. So inside here, there's traffic analytics. There's what's called your hub listing, and you could set up your entire pricing, right? You could set up your monetization, how much it is, how much each call is, literally how much per call to your API, everything.
Nice.
And you see it up on here. So now this is selling the far back end. Now we're talking about selling the back end of software. So literally the way I learned how to set up this, if you go through this whole process, this is like my crawl and scrape. I have no clue how to get set up on this site. How I got set up on this site is I go into AI and I say, how do I get my API set up on rapidapi.com? Like I'm 4, okay? And it walks me through step by step. And now this will go through, and I'm just asking the AI because a lot of times it knows my code, and it's going to reference what I'm trying to do. And now it's going to say, this is how you do it. And it's going to walk me through step by step. If you ever get stuck, you ask the AI, explain step 2 way better, right? Right here, go to Rapid API, hit sign up, become a provider, add your API, give it a name, describe it, add your endpoints. You see how it says number 6, add endpoints? I'm going to say, how do I do number 6? Right? Nukeber number. All right. Number 6. And now it's, look, it says, if this seems tricky, it's okay. Ask a grown up for help. I'm going to need help. Right. So a lot of times, how do I do number 6? It's literally going to give me step by step on how to do number 6. Okay. Endpoints are like different games you can play. Like it literally walks me through how to set up authentication. This is like making a secret handshake. It explains it to me like I really need help. Well, here's the thing. This gives us the full instructions on how to do that step. Okay, so that PHP script now is fully running that I'm selling this on. It's literally just running on my server. And I mean, what's crazy is they called this 9,000 times yesterday and I didn't even notice. No, it's not like I'm not doing anything. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing I'm not doing. My server's not screaming. It's not mad. You know, it's just chilling. For $10 a month, this is running this script. And I mean, it's just calling it. Look, you can see right now, this was called at 7:02, 7:01, 7:01, 7:02, 7:01, 7 o'clock. Last night, 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock, right? And they're just running and calling the script. That's it. And they're scraping. Well, like all it is doing is calling the code on my server, returning the data to this thing. So you guys have this script that you guys can set up on yourselves. Or you can take that script and now it's an API and you could build your entire software out of it, just like I do, right? And I have Website Scraper API and I sell this as a full end front end software. And now people subscribe to it on my own server, my own software, and I sell it on my own website. So I sell it on rapidapi.com and I also sell it on this website too. So wherever you so choose to sell your guys' code. So
it's the same. Essentially, what you're saying is it's the same process, regardless of what we're coding and what the use case is. It's the same process that you follow, that you walked through in regards to setting up the website scraper.
correct. Yes. So the website scraper is going to help you from that far back end set up the code on your server. That's going to give you like, how do I do this? It's also going to show you how to connect it to a front end. So if you do want to sell it, you have that ability too. So that whole little process, what's cool, Austin missed those classes. Austin set up that entire thing without showing up to the classes. So I know by watching the class, you're going to be able to set up that whole entire process by yourself because Austin did it by himself.
What
And
class?
so the website scraper code.
The website
No,
scraper. I
set it up
remember
during the class.
Yeah, you were. You were on the class. Yeah, he did it while we were on the class.
On the class. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
so cool. So, yeah, I mean, it's something that you could follow along and get it set up. Like, so that's phenomenal, Austin. Like, yeah, and so
And I deleted everything, and now I have to rewatch it.
how beautiful. So, so you know what's crazy, Austin? You could literally set up that code and sell that video and the code as a product. And
Yeah.
that's it. It's $100 class. Tell people if they want to come, I'm going to set it up live and you sell the class. Because you know what I've realized? I was driving my daughter to school today and it's crazy is my daughter's on her way of graduating high school, but I've already graduated high school. However, every day I drive her Monday through Friday to school. And if I analyze why I'm doing this is I'm saying, hey, look, I graduated high school. Society recognizes as graduating high school as a valuable thing. I'm going to help you graduate to high school. That's it. I'm going to help you get to this one single level. I'm going to stop and I'm going to pause and I'm going to help you set up and achieve this one thing. Some people think an entire business is setting up and achieving a whole bunch of stuff. That's not true. A lot of times, just setting up this one single script is $1,000 product. And if you help people do that one single thing over and over and over and over again, you have a business. And sometimes some people overthink it. Here's the thing. This software, when you connect this script into other software, you're giving people the backbone of an entire software. But some people will they'll like walk by a penny on the ground and be like, oh, that's not important. And they don't see the value of the penny. They don't see the value of the compounding thing. The reason I created the software, check out this. If this guy calls this software every single day 9,000 times, as crazy it is, just like a water, right? You drink water every day. Then you go to waste and you have to drink more water every day. So a lot of times a water bottle product is a reusable source. These guys, if they build it into their software, they're going to call this API over and over and over and over again. It's a reusable product, as crazy as it is. Create products that people are going to reuse, subscribe to, call on a daily basis. A lot of these guys are calling it to get daily news, to rewrite it with AI. You might build that into a software, or you might just build APIs that are the foundation of their entire software. This guy might call it 900 times a day, but he might, or 9,000 times a day, but he might call it 100,000 times in the future. This doesn't cost me anything. I hope my whole life is just getting paid from software in the future. I hope I don't have to build websites as much. I hope I have teams that build websites and I don't have to do it anymore. Everybody else is just building my stuff for me, and I make tons of money from software. I love making magic money from some guy just using an API. Like, this is the most fantastic income source I've ever made, is from software. However, selling website in a day services from where we started on this, like I said, like, you're selling a website in a day and it's a 5K offer, 4K, and the person that does most of the work is a robot. I'm sitting going back and forth with the AI and saying, write me a homepage with this, write me an about page, create me a service page, make me an application for this company. And then you look at it and you're like, okay, I like that question. I don't like this question. I need to connect this header. Here's this link. You go back and forth, and all of a sudden in a day, we have a website page that we're able to click on. We're able to view. We're able to see, like, I could connect this to a subdomain. I could put this, literally, I could have set this up on a real domain and just waited until it propagated, right? And then I could go to the about page. And so you could build entire software on this thing. So this is, it's almost like I believe this is what I feel like is one of the pinnacles in the direction of how we could leverage AI the most to get the least amount of input to get the most output. This is what I believe is the most valuable. Building websites and building software are the two pinnacles. So if you just stop at this one point and get really good at building websites and software with AI, just that one level right there, I believe, just like me helping my daughter achieve going to high school every day, you will help more people achieve that success just by building a simple website and building software. It sounds so simple, but just don't overstep it. It's one of those things where how many people just need a simple website? The more I realize that my wife helps nurses and doctors, 90% of their websites look like they've been designed 20 years ago. So them just getting a little touch up blows them away. They're absolutely blown away. So if you just pick a niche, find a way that you could build websites like this, onboard them. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put this class in the replays for the website building classes, and I'm gonna add that to it. And then you guys are also gonna have, so you guys are gonna have these survey documents, because these survey documents are what I use to get all the copy from our clients. So I want you guys to at least have a starting point so you guys can have those survey documents too. Now, all you do whenever you onboard a customer, send them the freaking survey questions. Hey, fill out this survey, literally like branding survey. Why do you want to be known? Right? Like, why do you want to be known? What is your struggles? How'd you get here? Tell me about yourself. Who are you speaking to? You're asking them all the questions so you could write copy with this. And then all you're doing is building them a homepage, an about page, a contact us page, right? Like, it's the where the rubber meets the road. This is the business model of building websites online. And you could see it's profitable, right? Like, if we could find somebody that could do this faster and cheaper and write it better, well then, hey, I mean, I don't have to show up on my weekend, or I don't have to do this work myself. I could just hire someone for a few $100 or hourly, and they could do these websites themselves. Once you create a system, right? Creating the system is the most powerful part. So what you guys think of today's class? This helped today?
It was perfect.
Super epic.
Heck yeah. Cool.
Question for you though, Jeff.
Yes.
So you have all these systems and processes. Why don't you create a agent and train the agent on building how you build websites, how you're building websites with my AI team, and have it to where it builds your websites for you by just giving it a prompt?
That'd be amazing. I actually think the next portion, I feel like whoever does this, of connecting somehow the AI to create, how I was just trying to create the blog post a few seconds ago? And then it was like I was making it where I could make a new page and then it makes a blog post. It's almost like, can you make a new page, but make that page AI generated and then continue to iterate on that one page. You know what I mean? Like there has to be a way that that is possible. And then we're just able to create those, you know what I mean? And I think there's a website called WebSim. That's a really fun one that like does something similar. But I want it to make it where it's our own website, you know what I mean? Our own software. Like that'd be fun. So it's most of my things that I do with coding. It's most of my curiosity. I literally think like, can I do this? Can I make it? Like, I just wanted to know if I could do this. And then all of a sudden I'll whip it out and I'll be like, dude, I could do that. That's cool. And then I'll like ask somebody else, hey, do you guys want to do this? And then all of a sudden it's a product. That's what happened to the website scraper. I asked, I need text for my website. I need content. And I checked it and I scraped website content. Does anybody else need website content? I guess a whole bunch of people do. And then I started selling it. So it's the little things. So find a product, decide you're going to help other people achieve exactly what you did. It doesn't have to be world changing. All I'm doing is scraping a website. That's it. It's nothing fancy. One of the codes that I'm about ready to add into the code vault also is the Google Maps scraper. So you guys can scrape Google Maps and have those leads in there too. Just setting that.
Almost done setting that up.
Heck yeah. As soon as you do, drop it in that group because whoever does it first gets a free month of my AI team. So great job. So heck yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for showing up. You guys rock. Hopefully this class helped. And I'll get those little bonuses up there shortly for you guys too. So you guys rock. Love you.
Appreciate you, man.
Talk soon. Bye.